Good morning, guys. So it's 6 a.m. We are 46 days out, I believe, of the British finals. Gonna get ready to go to cardio now. Calories have been upped at the moment, so we're up to around 2,550, I believe, on a training day. So my meals for work, I've got my baked oats, up to 75 grams of that, cream of rice, up to 85 grams, and then on my beef and rice meal, the rice is at 75, yeah, 75. We are good to go. Off to the gym to do morning cardio. We're down to 25 minutes a day at the moment, so it's really helping freshen up the legs. Yeah, so get cardio done and then we're off to work for the day. And then later on we've got a pull and leg session. Energy is progressively getting better now that we're trying to push calories up moderately as high as possible to get us in the best spot, ready to then bring it back down again for the prep for the finals. See what my sleep is saying for last night. So, sleep score, pretty good. Good improvement on restorative time. All good. It's cardio done. I have my first meal of the day now. And it's the best meal. It is the baked oats. Jess did a tutorial for this, she's put it on her Instagram. So if you're interested, check that out. You can find her through my Instagram. But yeah, we're up to 75 grams on this now, so it just makes it even better, even more filling. A little update on where I'm at. So as I said earlier, we're pushing calories up to around 255 on a training day now. Oh my god. Damn. Just like a bloody cake. It's just insane. If you're not on the baked oats, honestly, I promise you will not be disappointed. Okay, so work done. Gonna head to the gym now. We've got a pull and leg session, which I'm buzzing about, where calories are higher. At the moment, they're not as high as I would like them, but they're higher. I'm feeling that slight increase in energy and power in the gym, and I'm going to make the most of that and enjoy these sessions. I've already started to see a few increases on some sets and some sessions, and I feel like that's only going to increase as long as we're at this level of calories. So whilst it's here, we're going to make the absolute most of it and absolutely smash it today. So I will check you guys in that session.
Now, I am recording on my laptop microphone, so I don't know how good this quality is going to be. I'm going to guess and say that it's going to be pretty bad, but I'm going to give it a go anyway. I'm definitely going to invest in one of those microphones that I see everyone using in the gyms. I think that is so cool. But yeah, so I thought I would do a voiceover for this workout, because just to make it a little bit more interesting and engaging, really. So today I've got my pull and leg session. With this session, I am starting off with abductors. This movement for me, I've been doing for about a year and a half now, and where it's still quite a new movement, even though I'm a year and a half in, I am implementing a pause at the top of the rep just because I feel it gives me a little bit more control there. And when you're doing something that's new, it's good to add those pauses in because it helps you maintain that control. So moving on, we're going on to the adductors. This is a movement that I think is so crucial for the overall leg development. And adductors and abductors as a whole, they're so really good for warming up the hips and the glutes area, which I think is really going to then translate well onto your pressing movements. So they're really essential in my opinion, and I like to do them at the start of the workout because of that warm-up effect. With the adductors, God, I always get them mixed around. So with the adductors, I'm pausing at the top and the bottom of the rep. Because with this movement, there's such a stretch that's involved, I think it's really important to have that pause, especially in the heavier sets, because you don't want to be moving ballistically and with momentum, especially when you're in that length and range, because you can be at risk of, straining the muscle there if you do it too ballistically. So with both the abductors and the adductors, I'm doing 2 sets. My top set, I'm implementing more of a pause. And then in the back off set, I'm not pausing for as long, but I'm doing a bit more continuous reps. Just at the moment where I am with my recovery, I take that into account. I'm just doing that emphasized pause on the top set. And when I feel like my recovery is in a better spot, I might look at adding that intensifier into the further stages of my program to make it a little bit harder when I feel like I can recover from it. So next up, we've got the lying hamstring curl. With this exercise, I really try to pull on the handle so I can keep my body nice and locked. That way I can get a better isolation of the hamstrings. Again, with this one, I'm pausing at the top and slightly at the bottom. And then on the back off sets is more of a continuous rep tempo, just like I was explaining with the abductors and the adductors. I did find with this one that my hamstrings were still a bit fatigued from my previous leg session, so it's something I need to bear in mind and just adjust going forwards. So next up, we've got the stiff leg deadlifts, which is a real favourite of mine. It's definitely something that I've been battling with over the years just to try and perfect, but I felt like today, even though it was my first session back, I really had a good connection with them. I'm not going too heavy, especially it's my first session back. We worked up to 150 kilos only, I believe, on here, which for me is relatively light. You can see, particularly in the first set, that my hip starting position wasn't quite as high as I'd like it, but I am ensuring that I'm keeping my spine pretty much nice and straight and neutral, and I'm keeping that tension in the glutes and the hamstrings, and we're getting that isometric pull on the back muscles. With this one, I'll find, particularly with guys as they get bigger and bigger and they do develop their lower back, I feel myself, I have a pretty decent musculature around the lower back, so you can see that sort of illusion of the spine rounding, but that's just something you need to bear in mind. Not everyone has a completely dead flat back. So yeah, worked up to a top set, getting out the sniffing salts just for that extra height. As I was saying in the video, energy is improving, but it's still not at where I'd want it to be, But we're getting there. So this is the top set on the stiff legs. I'm making sure I dead stop at the bottom. Something I've done in the past, which is a bit more ego lifting, is doing a bounce. It can have its place in training, and it depends on, a number of variables as always. But for me, with the better connection, I'm making sure that I dead stop at the bottom, especially as it's first time adding this back into the program. I don't want to be rushing things and letting ego come into play. Moving on, we've got the lying leg press. So with this one, I don't know if you can actually see in the video, but I've actually put some extra pads underneath the built-in pad, and that's to allow me to get a better depth in the squat. And by doing that, I'm getting a better flexion of the quads, and that's going to translate to better activation and better gains. Again, with all exercises in my approach to training now, we want to push as much load as possible, but where I'm focusing on hypertrophy specifically, getting as best range of motion, but as safe as possible, is going to be more effective when stimulating that growth and getting that stretch and micro tears in the muscles. which got Big Griff spotting me there looking absolutely massive. What I like to do as well with this one, especially from the outgo of the exercise, is get someone to help lift me out, because where the weight's heaviest and it's hardest at the bottom of that rep, it's not like a squat bar where you can unrack and then go into the set. So if you do have a spotter that can help you with that, I definitely recommend that, because it is quite risky at that start bit. Apologies about the camera angle, guys. Don't really know what I was thinking. I thought it looked pretty cool with Big Griff spotting me, but kind of just zoomed in on my ass. But yeah, with this one, I love this machine because you can get such a good intensity and load into the quads, but it's pin loaded, so it's so fast and easy to use. You're not messing around with plates, and it just helps, especially when you've got longer sessions. For me, my pull and leg session is my longest session because I'm doing a lot of leg movements. I'm doing a big compound lift, which requires a decent amount of warm up, and then I'm also going on to train back and biceps after that. So it's quite a long session, and having something like this is really going to help with that.
Mate, in my vision I could see capillaries.
Oh really?
Like crackle across. That was mad.
I get that sometimes with vlog. You just like, vision like
You can see the crackle.
So next up, we've got the hammer strength seated plate loaded row. I'm doing an underhand grip on this. So with this exercise, really I'm just sort of picturing retracting my back and scapula as much as possible and just really feeling that connection in the lats. It's kind of like when you're on stage and you're pulling your arms back before you're doing a back double. That's pretty much what I'm trying to picture, just so I can get as much activation as possible. Like with all exercises in my approach to training, I'm really trying to focus on mind to muscle and keeping the activation. This is a new exercise that I've put in as well, so I'm still sort of getting my grounding with it and getting the best feeling. My philosophy when it comes to training is that really you need to find out what are the best positions, what are the safest positions for you to use in your exercises, taking into account your leverages and all of those sorts of things. So with this one, I did 3 sets actually. So I did a top set where I was doing more of an emphasis on a pause at the top of the movement, so when my back's retracted, and then really controlling the eccentric as we're coming out and feeling that good stretch in the back. On my back off sets, I was just doing a controlled negative and not getting that pause. And because the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm still managing my fatigue at the moment, and I'm finding towards the back end of the sessions, I'm taking out some of those pauses because the energy isn't quite there to do them effectively, but I'm still able to have that control of the eccentric movement. Now, I didn't record the rest of the session because my camera was getting low, but I did do some preacher curl, machine preacher curl biceps after back just to finish off. So update after the leg sessions. So bearing in mind my legs are super pumped still from all the sets, so they're definitely looking a little bit watery, a little bit bloated, definitely harder to pose as well. There was a lot of abdominal bracing throughout the session as well, still coming off from the stiff legs. So I definitely found it harder to do those ab shots and that twisted double. Like I didn't have that freedom to get that nice classic twist that I like to do. But yeah, weighing in still around 75.5 kilos, which is about a kilo above my last stage weight.
Man, that was one hell of a session. Super pumped, passion, rage, intensity, everything you want from a session. Good pump, I think I already said that. But yeah, so I'm just going to jump on quick because a bit of news. So, I spoke with my coach today, and basically there's a longer post on my Instagram if you want to read that explaining everything, but essentially I don't think, well, I'm not going to be continuing with the prep this year for the finals. There's a multitude of reasons, but the main reason is to do with health. So we took some blood tests, and essentially my testosterone is below the low range for a male. That was taken a week after my last show, so it's now almost 3 weeks since then. And I feel like since then my energy's been getting better and other sort of things that would indicate your levels of testosterone, but I'm still not there yet. You know, and based off that result, I don't think it's worth continuing in a low level of body fat for this show, because if you know me, I always want to come in better every show, and I think we're at the risk of coming in worse. You know, I talked about in the past running the red line when it comes to natural bodybuilding. Between shows, getting in that condition, you know, you're at that risk of burning through muscle, and I think I was there, and I just don't think it's a wise idea to continue. I think my body really just wants sustenance. It doesn't want to be depleted. It wants to, you know, it wants nutrients. So I need to do what's best for my long-term goals. Realistically, next year is just around the corner, and I feel as if I carry on this, because I do really want to compete this year, and I feel like I'm letting various people down, including myself, because they're really backing me and they're excited for me in the finals, and there will always be that regret, I think. But if I'm thinking ultimately long term, I want to do well and succeed, and I think taking this time now to properly reverse out the diet and grow ready for next year is going to be much better towards my long-term goals, rather than continuing to push just because I really want it and risk coming out of that phase after the finals in a worse spot and potentially, you know, making my levels even worse. It's probably not going to be good for my health. So yeah, that's the big news. But you know what I really want to focus now is on my YouTube, my coaching, my online coaching. I spoke about that last week. Man, I have such a passion for the few clients I have already. It's so exciting and I'm absolutely loving it. And if you're interested in that, guys, please hit the link down below. Send me a DM on Instagram as well. We can get in touch and have a free call, because I'm really looking to take on a few more clients into the rest of this year. Next year is going to be super exciting. So yeah, I'm just going to focus on these things, and also, of course, properly reversing, making some gains, getting absolutely massive, and chasing down big goals for next year, which I'm so excited about. So yeah, I apologise if that's a bit of a letdown to anyone who's excited to see me at the finals. But guys, with this channel, there's going to be plenty more shows to come. We're going to be title chasing, and we're going to achieve great things. And I just want to say I really, really appreciate the support. It means so much to me. The comments, it's so rewarding. And yeah, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this YouTube, just to share this journey and build relationships and something to look back on, you know. So plenty more exciting things to come, guys. I want to thank you all for checking in. Gonna head back now. Just my standard chicken and rice. Eat that, prep my meals for tomorrow. You know, bodybuilding is Groundhog Day. So it's back home, cook, eat, meal prep, chill for a tiny bit with Jess, and get to bed. And then we do it all again tomorrow. Except tomorrow's a rest day, so there's no training, unfortunately, and less food. But it's fine, because, you know, on a weekly basis now we're going to be pushing calories up. I just need to manage that hunger, because I am so hungry. But yeah, it's coming on. So thank you, guys. I'll see you in the next one.